Hey, it's Empress Rose, and welcome to our collective reading taking place in my little office area now. This apartment has a lot of big windows and not a lot of walls. Okay. All right. I mean, it's got walls, but the walls have to be occupied by bookshelves, which you can't put in the middle of a room. All right. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, these moon cards are very talkative. It must be the moon in Gemini. Oh, wow. Okay, surrender to the divine, full moon. Things out of your hands, out of your control. Let it go. You did what you could do. It's now somebody else's to deal with. Maybe somebody else's, maybe just the universe's. You're letting go and let the current take you. So, yep, just let it go. Don't try to control this. There is a sense of we can do what we can do, and then we have to let it go and let whatever happens happen after that. So that's where we're at. That's a spot that you're at in a certain process. Is it's time now to let go of something and let it move forward on its own with whatever, you pushed it. I'm seeing a child learning how to ride a bike, and you let go of the bike, and there they go. So you gotta just let go, because that's the only healthy way this can move forward. Then look what we got, you guys. You are full moon in Virgo and new moon in Virgo. Very Virgo energy, As a reader, I know that just intuitively. So you are good enough. Full moon in Virgo. This is really important. You are good enough. You are enough. You are adequate. You are up to the task. You can do this. You have the skill set. You have the resources. You have what it takes to do this, okay? So whether that's surrender, which is a skill set in and of itself, that is sort of constantly being exercised and asked for, but you are good enough. So if you do need to let something go or let someone go, it's not that you're inadequate to the task. Like if you are letting a child, go off on the bike and you're letting go of the bike so that they can pedal on their own, it's not that you are now suddenly inadequate. It's that you gave them the start. You did the thing. You are adequate. They can now just ride a bike without you. And that actually speaks to your adequacy. So you are good enough. Something maybe that you're releasing or you're letting go of at that point. It's not that you were bad. It's not that you did anything inadequate. So you just need to be seeing yourself accurately. You are good enough. And then time to give rather than take, new moon in Virgo. So this is talking about your attitude towards something, or how you come into a situation, what you bring to a situation, whether that's a skill set or a tone or a vibe, being aware of what it is that you are bringing into a situation. And it's enough. So even if you're just showing up at the party with a good vibe, that's enough. And if you're showing up with Jello salad, it's just because that's what you had, and that's what you could do, and that's what you can bring. So it is enough. Whatever you're bringing is enough to the situation. It's not. It might. So this is saying you might not feel like you are enough, or you're bringing enough, or you have enough to bring to the table. But this is reassuring you that you do. And you are bringing something, and it is enough. You have what it takes. So, and then we have, don't let pride get in your way, full moon in Leo. This is so interesting. We have 3 full moons here. We have the full moon, just straight up, Virgo full moon, Leo full moon. The Leo full moon is interesting to me. Don't let pride get in your way, because there's something about it always piques my interest, because pride can both shut us down. Fear of humiliation, fear of not being enough, fear of not bringing the right thing can kind of shut us down. And that's also a pride mechanism of we we want to bring everything to the table, or we want to bring the best thing. We want to bring the steak to the potluck, but instead we only had money for Jell-O salad. So then maybe we don't want to go because that's all we have. And this is saying it is good enough. What you have is good enough. So don't let pride or fear of shame, which is also pride, get in the way of a good time, right? And also just pride, and the flip side of that. I don't think you're dealing with that, but also there's a sense of like, don't try to cover up any sort of feelings of inadequacy with too much bravado, right? Don't be like, oh gosh, I'm not good enough, and then show up and to some place or event or thing, or like pushing too hard, you know? Like, don't be prideful. But with the full moon in Virgo, you are good enough. I don't think that's actually the problem. All right. This is interesting. This is the gate, the doorway, the opening. It's got a lot of moon energy in it too. We got this big circle here. And what's interesting with these 3 full moons and the gate, and we're just at a new moon in Gemini and moving into Cancer as I do this reading. So this could be like something about the next 2 weeks where you need to be confident but not arrogant. You need to watch what attitude you bring to something, watch what you bring, what you have to offer to something, and also like make your offering and let it go. So the gate, an opening, an opportunity, a passage, a rite of passage, an entry, a doorway opens, an opportunity is presented, and you are welcome to walk through it. And yeah, there's a lot of crown chakra energy here too. So spirituality could be strong intuition, even though that's the third eye, but all around here, something about the head, about adornment, about, speaking of which, there, okay. So, yeah, an opening, a rite of passage. All right, let's get into the tarot. So maybe a new activity, a new arena you're entering. You might be entering a new project, a new group of people, a new place, a new room. You might be entering a new place, right? And there's this doorway and there's this opening and you walk through it. And as you walk through it, it might create some challenges to your sense of self and whether you have enough to give, whether you're giving enough value to the situation. And this is just saying, just take care of your vibe and make sure you're, bringing what it is you need to bring to the situation and knowing that that is enough. So, what am I doing? Okay. All right, one more shuffle of the tarot cards while we're here. Okay. 8 of Swords, self-limiting beliefs. So self-imposed limitations as well. Rules that you made for yourself. But also there's a sense of not realizing you made these rules. Nobody else made these rules for you. These aren't like actual rules. These are like your rules that, somehow in your mind you were like, oh, it's this and that, so then I can never do that, or then I always have to do that. But I don't see you. So this has to do with maybe dealing with those rules or seeing where so it just takes introspection for you to see what rules you made up for yourself that aren't actually real rules. And maybe have you feeling inadequate or not able to bring your goods to market or something like that. Maybe you made a rule that you have to have 100 widgets in order to open a booth at the farmer's market. And you've got 95 widgets, farmer's market is starting, they need to know if you're going to show up with your booth, but you have this rule in your head that you need 100 widgets before you can do that. And so you're just going to miss this whole season because you made a rule. And that's not a rule. They're not asking you like, do you have 100 widgets? They're just saying like, hey, it's time to sign up for this if you want to do this year. So anyway, yeah, something like that, a rule or something that you've made for yourself. Past, present, inner landscape, what's the issue, environment, to-do list, possible outcome. Or maybe there's also a thing here about a gag rule. There's something where you weren't going to talk about something, or you never talk about this, or you don't say this. It could be about communication too, about something that you learned somewhere along the line that you don't communicate, and it's not something you talk about. But maybe it is something to bring forward now, to bring into conversation. Oh, what was it? When I used to work in law, and then we would prep people for trials. And one of the things was neither exaggerate nor minimize. So just really ask, and that's sort of the vibe here. Do not exaggerate or minimize who you are and what you're bringing to the table. That's what these two, don't let pride get in the way of this. That's part of it. I mean, part of it too is the shame aspect of pride. But yeah, don't exaggerate or minimize. Bring what you've got. Just, there's this like honesty and forthrightness here. So neither exaggerating nor minimizing this. So 9 of Pentacles, you've done a lot of work. You've done a lot of work. It's time consuming work. You actually, especially when we're talking about you are good enough, there's this history of a lot of work here. It's something you actually have put a lot of work into, and you may not feel that. You may see people, well, they've been doing it for 30 years. They've been doing it for 20 years. Like, they've put a lot of work into it, which is true, but you have also done a lot of work. You have some amount of accomplishments under your belt. You have achieved things. You have harvested things. You have gotten a lot out of something, and it maybe took a long time to develop that, to get that, to acquire that. Let's see, we have Pentacles, Wands, Swords, Swords. So a lot of swords. So that's interesting, because I was seeing just with the Moonology cards, communication, which wasn't apparent, but with 3 of Swords here, we do have a communication heavy, oh, I love where this is. I just got a glimpse of where we're going with this. Communication heavy reading. So, all right. So you have accomplished something. You got somewhere. You did something. You have a lot of expertise. You have invested time and energy and probably money into something. And now here we are, the 7 of Pentacles. And then under the 7 of Pentacles, we have the Hanged Man, which I think is really funny, because this is just the minor arcana representation of this major arcana. So the 7 of Pentacles is waiting. Did we get that recently? I've seen it a lot lately. It's just, when I use different decks, it's hard to exactly remember where it came in from with different pictures. But 7 of Pentacles is, you've put this work in. I love this reading so far. It makes so much sense. You put a lot of work in. You did this. You've harvested stuff. But this is saying like you're waiting also. It's like you can see the harvest. You've done this. And here you just have to wait. You're waiting for, and when does this happen? And I think this is like surrender to the divine. I think this has to do with like surrender to the timing, like something's ripening. Yes, you've put a lot of work into it. This is almost, instead of fruit ripening or vegetables ripening, I'm almost seeing like wine aging, because she's the vintner. She's the Widow Clicquot. Like if you read biographies, it's a really great one. The Widow Clicquot, like she's harvested a lot and she's making wine, and a huge part of that is growing grapes, which takes like a long decades to grow those grapevines and really get a good harvest. It takes a huge investment of energy, time, And then now you're in this patience and you've already invested this time and now you're waiting. But what you're waiting for is the fermentation process, the second part of this. The work's been put in and we've gotten the grapes, we've stepped all over the grapes, and made them make the juice, and then we put them in the bottles, and then we put the bottles, like, let's say the bottles are in a cave that keeps the temperature nice and regular. And then, and now we're waiting for the fermentation, this natural fermentation process. And we just have to wait. There's not a lot we can do here. We're just waiting. We know, we definitely have an expectation that something's going to happen. And there's the Seven of Pentacles is the patiently impatient card, where we have this expectation that something's going to happen. We're not just standing around waiting for nothing, hopefully. Because that's true with the wine making process too. Things can go wrong. The wrong bacteria can get in there and you won't know until you open it up that it's bad, So there is this patient, anxiously waiting process of like, okay, so what now? What's going to happen next? And then your inner landscape is Seven of Wands. You might be trying to stay in a positive, hopeful space, trying to stay in a patient place is where you might be doing, like trying to hold some sort of ground that you have obtained. You might be worried that people are going to compete with you, people are going to come after you, people are going to steal your spot, steal your ideas. You might be worried that people are going to, come after you or not like you or dethrone you or throw you off somehow emotionally. Like maybe you've done a lot of emotional work and that's part of the physical work, is getting emotionally ready for some things and doing all this emotional work. So, and with Wands, you might have an idea that you're worried people are going to take something from you. Basically, Seven of Wands is kind of this concern that people are going to take something from you and really fighting to hold your space, whether it be like a space in a job. With the two Pentacle cards here, that's what it looks like. Some sort of work space and feeling defensive. So Seven of Wands is a defensive card, and which is not wrong, because we do need to defend our space. We do need to defend that which we hold precious. We do need to defend these things. There are people that will steal our time, steal our energy, steal our good energy, make us feel or put us in situations where we're feeling lack and loss. And so here you're trying to fend off this loss. You're trying to, a potential loss. So the loss is sort of, you're seeing the possibility for it, and you are thinking about the possibility of loss and the possibility of being taken from, and the possibilities of people eroding either your sense of self or your actual externalized position in the world. You're worried about that. But hopeful. So this could be like an attitude, right? With time to give rather than take. It could be an attitude that people kind of are, your situations and maybe even this patience, this waiting is tempting you out of alignment. If you let your guard down, you may not want to let your guard down emotionally here or in another way, because other people or other energies could pull you down, and it's a sensation of being pulled down by other people and other people's ideas. And I think that it's time to give rather than take is really holding your space, both mentally, emotionally, and as you try to do so in the physical world, or as you're waiting for something, you could feel challenged. And so in what's at issue here, oh gosh, I love this. This is not an issue. This is just what we love to see. 10 of Swords reversed. We're getting a gravity assist with the ending of a painful process, a difficult situation. Maybe things were said and done, stabbed in the back, but no more. These are coming out. There is a release here. And it's very natural. This is why you do want to surrender to the divine. This is reminding me of like an animal. I can't imagine which animal right now. None of them are coming to mind. An animal, a wild animal, like maybe a dolphin or something that is like stuck in like ropes or fishing net. And and they're trying to get out of it. It's been really difficult. It's starting to dig into their skin. It's been a difficult situation. And along comes some tourists, and they bring the dolphin over and they cut it free. But the dolphin has to surrender to the process. The dolphin has to be like, okay, these people, they're drunk and they smell like alcohol, and they have a knife in their hands, but I have to surrender to the situation in order to break free. So there's some sort of intuitive knowing that letting this go, letting the authorities, or letting this process unfold, or letting somebody else do their job, is actually going to assist you and break you free from something that's digging into your skin, getting under your skin, has been really difficult. So this is this gravity assisted, universe assisted release from a painful situation, and then healing can come in. So it's not like this is total healing. This is like the sliver falls out, or the help comes, or just something natural, some natural process, very natural process happens. So maybe it's not the tourist, maybe it's just like the rope falls off somehow. I don't know, maybe it is some assistance, but it's like a natural process is assisting you, and quickly. It's a very quick release from a difficult period of time. And then in your environment, the tower, so this could be a structure in your life that is kind of falling apart. This is great because it's been painful, it's been difficult. This could be somebody else waking up and having this startling realization. This could be somebody realizing that they're not in control anymore, and they're certainly not in control of you anymore, or any kind of process. This could also be just structure, a structure in your life, a literal structure in your life having some functional issues, and it could be like an organization or something having some functional issues as well. So whether that happens this week, or just the realization that this is coming is happening this week, that the realization that this is not sustainable, and this can't last like this. So there are some structural issues in your environment. And maybe this has you on pause, like, I had a job lined up. I also work as an actor and a model sometimes. So I had a job lined up, and then I just didn't hear from them, and I had like made plans around it and whatever. And you're not really supposed to do that, but it was like going to be a longer job. So I had kind of in my mind gone forward, just didn't hear from them, thought like, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. Oh, they didn't want me or something. Turns out there was this huge structural issue with one of the major, how do I say this? Like it wasn't a house, but like a house. Like, I don't want to give away too much, but like a house, or like there was a barn involved in this thing, and the barn turned out to be completely unsafe. The whole plan had to be scrapped, and they picked it up again like a year ago. So, a year later, and then I just wasn't informed about it. So it wasn't that I wasn't good enough. It wasn't that they didn't want me anymore. It was that there was a massive structural issue where the whole thing had to be rethought, redone, everything. So that's a little bit of what I'm seeing here, is this massive structural issue happening in your environment. So an organization, you've been waiting to hear back from them, but it turns out they've had a lot of their CFO was embezzling, and they've had all these shifts and changes and turns, and they just haven't been able to get back to you, or they don't have the capacity to really help you right now. And so you're kind of still waiting, but they're dealing with something else. So there's a big structural issue that is either affecting somebody else that's part of this, or it's part of your life too, and somehow it's part of your life too, and it's somehow it's part of your life. So your to-do list is to hang out, learn as much as you can in this situation. Don't keep moving, don't force things. Oh my goodness, yes, with these two together, do not force things. That's definitely part of this, is the Hanged Man. Don't force anything. You're getting free, you're figuring out some stuff while you're here, but you're waiting on something. So there's also a like really strong don't give up here. You are still good enough vibe. Like, don't give up. Don't quit something. Don't but figure some stuff out. Figure out like sort of how you got here. Were any decisions that you made part of how you got into this sort of stuck place? But you're not stuck. You're just having to wait. You yourself, you may be saying, I'm stuck. These cards are saying you're actually waiting for external events to happen. So don't take it personally. And these cards are like, don't take it personally. Don't think it has anything to do with your value or your worth or anything like that. It's just, and so you may be thinking, I'm stuck. How do I free this energy? And this is saying you're not, yes, you are stuck, but it's because of some external situation that happened. It doesn't have to do with you. There's other karmas playing out. There's other people's stuff playing out. You know, you're not the only person on this planet. So sometimes other people's stuff affects us. And that's a little bit of what I'm seeing here. It's just waiting patiently. It doesn't have to do with you being inadequate in any way though, okay? It's an external situation. It's a little bit dramatic for whoever's going through it. And it doesn't have to do with your worth or value or what you bring to the table, or maybe you're not bringing enough to the table. That's not what's going on here, okay? So where we're going here, we're going to Page of Swords. So tentative communication. Communication may be coming in. It may not be perfect. It may not be whole. It may not be complete. It may not, I want to say it may not be matured. It's like the wine is still young. And so there may be something missing with the communication, or wrong with the communication, or difficult about the communication, or confusing about the communication, because the wine is still young. So the wine, it's not fully ripened, fully matured. So if you do get communication about this thing that you're waiting on, it's not going to be, we have made a decision and everything is complete. It's going to be like, hey, could you send us a little more information? Or, hey, can we put you on hold for next month? Or, hey, it's going to be like a tentative communication, not the whole thing of like, this is set in stone. The judge has, released their verdict. The court reporter has taken it down. It's now part of legal records for all time. That's not this. It's like, hey, some documents, we need more documentation. We need more, so it's going to be part of the process, right? We see that the Nine of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles, sort of this unfolding process. And so someone's going to be communicating with you, hey, so there is something you can do to move the process along, but you're going to need to do that. I'm also getting with Page of Swords is communicate whatever it is you need to communicate with where you're at, even if it's inadequate. So remember that like you're bringing Jello salad when you sort of wanted to bring the steak metaphor. That's a little bit of this Page of Swords too, is like, bring what you've got. Okay. Bring, oh, yeah, this does come into play, I guess. So I'm not going to be able to use PayPal anymore. Someone stole $700 out of it, and PayPal is just like, okay, no, that was fine. You already had a financial agreement with them. I'm like, yeah, that was for $16. This is $700, and there's no receipt. There's nothing, and then PayPal's like, oh, looks fine to us. Like, so I can't obviously continue to have those people touching my money when they don't respect it. This is reminding me of making some complaints, and maybe not having everything you have available to you, or not being able to, as in my case, upload certain documents because the uploader wasn't accepting them, but still making the complaint and just like, okay, well, I'll upload those later in the process. So it's like that. It's like still doing the thing, even if you don't have the whole thing available, even if you don't have, still going to the party with what you've got, still coming to the conversation with what you do have. Maybe you don't have everything you need, but still making an attempt or communicating. And maybe this could be like in relationships where you're like, I don't know quite why I felt uncomfortable about that. I just know that I did. And so bringing that into a conversation, or making some sort of announcement, but you're a little bit tentative about it. So yeah, even though you don't have the whole plan and the whole idea, somebody here is speaking up. Somebody here is moving forward with a little bit of information, even if they're not. So a time to give rather than take. So it is like, and then with these two cards here, you're good enough. Don't let pride get in your way. It is like, yeah, don't make it perfect. Bring what you've got. It doesn't have to be perfect. So just wait. You'll get some sort of communication. It won't be everything you wanted. It won't be final. It will be just another communication. You might be the one communicating. Could be a person specifically. I mean, we do have the page. Pages are people. Typically, the court cards represent people. So could be representing a person coming to you with very specific but incomplete. And it could be an attempt at communication that's just kind of awkward and difficult. And it could be you. I'm seeing this with don't let pride get in the way. Like, communicate even if it's awkward and difficult. You know, there's like, speak even if your voice shakes. And I want to say, speak even if your sword shakes. Like, you're just, because she's just learning. She's just got the sword and she's like figuring out how to talk about this. And right. And we're feeling trapped here, and this is like a baby step to not feeling trapped. And there are real external things going on here. This isn't completely in your head. There are real external constraints on stuff going for you here, that are happening here for you, I guess, yes, for you. They don't feel like they're for you, but they are for you. So yeah, so this is like the baby step out of this trapped situation is like, help. And then someone can say like, actually just take the blindfold off. It's going to be a lot easier. Or just any kind of baby step out of a stuck place. All right. Owl spirit, you see clearly now. Okay. So there we have our white owl. Oh, I don't have the owl poster behind me. I have the Empress, but you're just seeing her legs. So owl spirit, you see clearly now. Wisdom. You know where something's going. Peacock spirit, let it shine. Oh, I love this. I really love this with this Page of Swords here and this you are good enough. And the full moon, the bright, shining full moon energy too. So let people know what's in your heart. Let people know speak your mind. Bring the thing that you have to bring. Give the gift that you have to give, whether it's perfect, whether it's polished, whether it's the best thing. You know, it's a whole process that unfolds, and it takes time to unfold, and you're still in this process, but that doesn't release you from taking baby steps or filling out the application or trying to get somewhere. So do let it shine. This is really great. It's just really beautiful with all those full moons there. Let your spirit shine, and you see clearly now. Awesome. Okay, and then we're going to end it. Well, I'm going to take a little sip of coffee. And then we're going to end it with a Wild Kuan Yin card, which I was told before I started was going to be very important. So there we go. This is the Tower. This is reminding me of Jericho. It's called The Walls Come Tumbling Down. And I've always loved the story of Jericho. It's like the first protest rally. It's taking these walls down and these barriers down through music, dance, art, all of that transforming the world. Like, it was like a musical protest. It was a parade. It was art, and it was people singing together and people dancing together and taking these barriers down through joyful expression. So So the walls come tumbling down. That's definitely looking like a tower, but it's this really beautiful tower. To defend ourselves against pain, we can create walls of protection around us, sometimes without even realizing it. And I also want to say it's having to do with that dolphin idea and like avoiding situations or avoiding people to our own that can help us, avoiding that to our own detriment. And it's very much reminding me of this Eight of Swords. Look at all the bondage here, this Hanged Man and Eight of Swords. They're so similar. This is about self-imposed, and this is externally imposed situations where you're stuck either way. We have three like stuck cards here. One is you're just stuck in your head, and the other is like be patient. Maybe it's like be patient, the communication you need is coming, or be patient. And I was talking about the dolphin with the ropes and stuff. Like be patient. Someone with a knife, right? Yeah, someone with a knife is coming to cut some ropes for you. And maybe they're not the professional rope cutter you were hoping for, but they do have the tool that you need to free yourself from this situation. And they might not be an expert knife cutter, so there might be some reasons to be a little like worried, like I was saying, like they're drunk and they have alcohol in their breath and they don't know what they're doing, and they just have this little pocket knife. But that's literally, this person is coming in with a pocket knife to help you out, and it's almost to help you out. Yeah. Anyway, we'll keep going here. Okay. Those walls make it hard for love, life, and joy to enter our world. Maybe we needed those walls once upon a time. But now it's time for those walls to come tumbling down because divine love wants to enter your world. And I also see barriers between different parts of your life, barriers between people and issues. And there are these barriers. They are coming down. It is going to take some time and some communication. And yeah, it's so beautiful with this card here of that bondage. And needing these walls once upon a time, but now it's time for them to come tumbling down. So also earlier we were getting some idea of like, it wasn't wrong before, that was right, but now we've come to a different place and it's now time for these self-imposed barriers to come down. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. That was really fun for me, at least. I hope it was fun for you, and we'll talk again soon.